All right. So, guys, welcome in to week 5. I hope you guys have been rocking things in the background for yourselves, maybe re-listening in to some of the older weeks, like week 1, week 2, week 3, that type of thing. The more you absorb this information, the more you become it. And we're really gonna talk about that idea today and for like the latter half of this program. And I'm really excited because we're going to get into some unbelievable next level stuff. Even, those of you who have worked with me one on one, we're getting into things that are groundbreaking and trailblazing with what we're doing. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be presenting it on this in this program for you guys over the next few weeks. And so I hope that is exciting to you. But yeah, let's get started. So, you guys, it's all about action. Our life is all about action, right? Every action we take leads to a result in our life. And so that's not necessarily a mystery, but we really want to understand that if we're not taking the right actions, we won't get the right results. So the question is, all right, well, how can number one is what is the right action, which we've already started to uncover a lot of that. But more importantly is how do we take the right action consistently to get the results that we desire? And so here's really where this starts to we get to go a little deeper here. All right, and this basically is the actual problem that we all face. So we have a current reality and our current identity, and then we have our intentions that we want of a new future desired reality. Okay, but then we've got all these things, our beliefs, our sub-identities, our emotions, our past events, our memories, right? Our unwanted circumstances. All of those things make up our current reality and our life experience. But here's where it gets really interesting. All of those things thus far have been survivable. So our unconscious mind is like, hey, I know you'll be able to survive in this environment. And so why do we need to change? So in other words, our unconscious mind doesn't want to change. It's proven out that you are still alive and still surviving with everything you've been through, with your current beliefs, your current everything. And it's okay with that, actually. That's its job, right? So the problem is we don't want our current reality, right? We don't want to have $0 in the bank or being overweight or whatever that looks like, right? We want our future reality, our desired reality, but that's actually unknown. And so even if you have already done something, and actually what's kind of funny about this is if you already have lost a lot of weight, you have an idea of what that looks like, and it's less unknown. So it's often easier for people to lose a lot more weight if they've already done it for themselves. But if you're trailblazing it, like let's just say you're at a point where you've never lost the amount of weight you want to, or you've never had a six pack, or like the next level of your desire, it's foreign to you, it's unknown. You don't actually know what is going to happen in your body and in your life, at least from your unconscious mind's perspective, right? So does that idea make sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. And I'll be checking in as we keep going because this is going to get really, really good here. So, in essence, what your current life looks like, even if it's complete garbage and you hate it, it is survivable and your unconscious mind is trying to protect it. So, we talked about that in the previous session, previous week, and it was about like the gatekeepers and our protectors. Well, that's an unconscious mechanism within our subconscious mind, actually. And again, its only real objective is to keep you surviving and alive. And it's known. And if it's been proven out, it connects to it. And that's what it stays with. Okay. So this is kind of a cool quote. We unconsciously, we fear the unknown. And what I love Deepak Chopra, most people talk about fear of the unknown, but if there is anything to fear, it is the known. Right? We know the results we're getting right now. Like we should be fearing that actually, right? And so this is kind of funny how we work as human beings, but everything seems to be kind of backwards, quite honestly. But you guys, you're in such an amazing spot because we're going to correct everything and it's going to seemingly feel backwards, but we're actually going to be correcting it in order to proceed the way we should be. In fact, every human being should know about this stuff. And that's one of the things I'm going to try to push out there in the future. But right now, I want you guys to really connect with this idea and get you past where we want to get you. So this is just a quick little recap from before. Our unconscious program is running our entire show. Literally 95 to 99% of our life and experiences and results come from our subconscious mind. It's an unconscious program that's running. And like I said before, we've got a gatekeeper and a protector that is literally protecting that program actually, and its objective is based in survival. Okay? So here's where this gets cool. Where your attention goes, energy flows, and and actually, yeah, sorry. Whatever you focus on, let me move my bar out of the way, you create. And so the idea is whatever you're focused on, you're creating actually, whether you realize it or not, actually. A lot of times, though, our unconscious program has us focused and oriented in the same old kind of patterns. All right, we're going to start to go a lot deeper with that today, though. So let me kick this back in. So, number one, we have to start becoming conscious of the unconscious program that's running. You guys, we've all been doing this up until now, but we're going to do this to the next level starting today and then over the next couple weeks. I've got some awesome next level stuff for you guys. It's hopefully going to blow your mind and help you get there 10 times faster, quite honestly. So, again, we want to start to enlighten what right now we don't quite see. Okay, so here's what's actually happening. You have your current reality, and then you have an intention, right, up to a desired reality, and then you start to take action. But what happens is all of these old beliefs and sub identities, everything, your emotions, how you feel, as soon as it starts to get too foreign and too like in the unknown, you get scared and you come back actually. And what happens is they call this like the rubber band effect. Okay. So literally, your current situation is like this rubber band here on the left, and your future, what you desire, is a pull in the opposite direction. Well, what's cool is intention is in tension. So what's happening is right now, everything takes the path of least resistance. So if you have a desire to have, do, or be better in your life with money or health or whatever, quite honestly, in any area of your life, there's tension that is now being created. If you can think of like a spring, right? To compress the spring, like the spring has potential energy, and we're going to talk about this to the next level with us as human beings. But the spring has potential energy. It doesn't actually start to have kinetic or powerful energy or movable energy until you start to compress the spring. The same is kind of true with our life. And we have potential, like infinite potential energy. And so what happens is we're starting to press on the spring going towards our future. But what happens is once it reaches a certain point, it kind of springs right back. Okay, so I hope that makes sense so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And stop me, guys, if there's any questions on anything as we go deeper here.
Okay.
Cool. So what this looks like actually, right, is all right, we take a few steps forward and then we take a few steps back, actually. And most people, myself included, this is what it looks like. It's a pendulum, right? And it reaches the maximum, right? The maximum tension, and then it comes back. It's unfamiliar, right? Doesn't make it's not survivable, right? To our unconscious mind. And then it swings right back. Okay, so I always talk to you guys like life always looks like this. It's always oscillating up and down, positive, negative. But I'm going to teach you guys how to actually break through it today. So this is where it gets next level, actually. In fact, most people are stuck in this model. Even when they're getting coaching, even when they're trying to progress, they're still stuck in this model, in this structure. And we're going to break past that for you guys today. So, generally speaking, even if you do make progress, what happens is you oscillate back to what you think is makes the most sense for you. What is your current structure, actually? We're going to get into this in a moment. This isn't your fault. You are not broken. Your structure is broken. And on the tail end of that, your orientation is off because your structure is broken. Okay, so stay with me here. This is where we get to go deeper. We must change our structure and orientation if we're actually going to significantly change the way we want to. Okay, and so really quick, structure. Everything in the known universe has structure, and even the unknown universe has structure, actually. And you can look at structure as like our house, your desk that you're sitting in, the laptop, the computer, the phone you're listening into. It all has a unique structure that literally makes that thing that thing. Okay, so it's all atoms at the very core, the subatomic particles at the very core, but when you put structure to it is when it becomes a thing. You get a result, in other words, an end result. Okay. And every structure has integrity. Okay. So here's the idea is if you built a house, that wood you're using is being used to build the home. But if you took it apart, you could build something else with it. So that structure you can restructure. So, what we want to start to do in our life, and we're going to talk about this, but what we want to start to do is not be in a stuck or oscillating structure. So, here are the three main structures actually: stuck, oscillating, and then flowing or advancing or progressing. So, you can look at these like stuck is like a house that you've built, a fence, right? Something that doesn't move, a desk, right? It's built for one purpose basically to border your home or for you to do work on the desk, right? Oscillating is literally like a rocking chair, rocks back and forth, right? And when we're talking about structures, what we're really going to be talking about is the structure of our mind, of our orientation actually. This is what will change the game for you guys. I'm here to tell you, it changed the game for me when I truly understood this, and this is what I'm so excited to teach you guys. So, when you're oscillating, though, that's what most people are doing in their life. They want better or they want something different, but they just oscillate back, go for it and then they come back. A slim percent of people actually break past it to become into a flowing structure where they actually reach their goals and get there. A very small percentage does. So what I want you guys all to succeed. I want you all to be part of that small percentage, but ultimately I want to help the whole world understand what's actually happening eventually. So these are the three main structures, okay? And here's where we start to break the mold and we start to restructure and change the way we're looking at things. So most people get into the problem-oriented structure, which actually is the stuck and oscillating. So if you can imagine, your current reality does not currently equal your future reality, right? Your desired future is different than what you want right now, okay? In your reality, okay? So that's 100% true, okay? However, this is where we get to shift is our current identity when we're in problem-oriented structure doesn't match our future identity. Okay? They're different actually. And this is everyone's mistake, mine included. I was making this mistake for so long actually in my life. And so what happens is our current identity doesn't match our future identity. And so we're trying to take action towards that, but it doesn't match. So it goes to oscillating, right? You'll progress and then you'll come back. And then when you come back, you might even get stuck there in procrastination for however many periods of time, right? And so get stuck there in your current identity because it's not your future identity. They don't match, in other words. Okay. So what this implies is that you must be different or that you are different. And most importantly, this implies that you will always have a problem. So I'm going to come back to you guys here because this is a very important one of the meat of this week here. So there's been lots of studies on this, okay? And I want to share with you one of them that was done, and it was this healing actually, this healing session. Dr. Joe Dispenza does this work. Several other people are actually doing this work. And this was not Dr. Joe's study. I can't actually remember the woman who did the study, but I will actually get you guys that information because this is kind of cool to see. But basically, there was a person who needed healing. Okay, and I can't exactly remember the details, but I think they had cancer or something where they were like they're on their deathbed, so they needed to be healed. So what happens is there's a group of people who learned how to focus their energy and intention and attention and flow it towards that person to help them amplify their healing. Okay, it's kind of how that works. And it's what's cool is you can even do this remotely, like they call this remote healing. So, and I know Dr. Joe does this now on a regular basis where there will be somebody sick in Australia and all around the world, people dial in at the same moment in time. Power is always in the present moment. And at the same time, they all flow their energy to that person. And boom, that person receives extra energy and is being healed faster. And then there's even something called spontaneous remission, where when you truly accept, and once we get through this whole session today, you'll understand how spontaneous remission works. But once you actually accept your true essence and nature, and you accept that future reality for yourself in the present moment, boom, there's a possibility that it could actually take effect right then and there. It overrides your DNA, even your biology. So, this is next level ideas, but I just want to give you guys, I want to open your mind a bit here. Okay. But what they found is this they did these healing sessions and they've studied this a lot. And what they found is the people that were healing the individual that needed the healing got better or more results actually. They actually they felt 10 times better and the person that got the healing felt a little bit better. And actually, they did progress, but not as much as the people who were doing the healing. Now there's something called the law of reciprocity where what you give is what you get in return. So if you give somebody something, they automatically want to give you something in return. It's almost like similar to the rubber band effect, but that's kind of how the universe works. But this idea, what brought to light here was that the people that were healing that individual, they were giving 100% of their energy. And what's really, really fascinating is they got 100% energy back in return, and all of their life, like all areas of their life improved like 10 times actually. They studied them afterwards, and their lives were just unbelievably abundant and fruitful and all this stuff in lots of different ways, not only with health. So what they found though, and what other people have found is that because the person who was receiving the healing, because they were oriented in a structure that was problem oriented, in other words, they had cancer, they had a disease, there was a problem that existed in their body, they didn't. So what happens is they got healed, they progressed, but they still had the cancer. They still had the thing. And it's not until somebody can get out of that idea, out of that structure for themselves, and let go of it, essentially. Let go of the idea that they have a problem or that they're broken or that they need to be fixed, if you will, or that you have a disease, right? You are a disease. Like if that could be an idea that's in your mind, basically, that you're oriented to. But if you have that, it doesn't matter how much healing you're doing or how much you're progressing, you will always have the problem, the thing, right? So, in other words, whatever the problem is that you see in your life, it will always be a problem if you're problem oriented, if you're in that structure. Okay, and we're going to go really, really deep with this idea. What's even crazier is most of the time it's unconscious. So we don't even realize that we are thinking that we have a problem, in other words. Right, so before we go any further, I just want to do a quick check-in. Does this idea make sense so far?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, you guys. You guys are already next level. I love this. So, this idea, as we keep going with this, okay, I want you guys to relate this to money and health right now for you. Okay, and if you're working on any other areas as well, you can absolutely do that as well. But the idea is around money, what do we think is the actual problem? Around health, what do we think is the actual problem? Because that is always going to be our problem. We have to shift out of this idea that we have a problem or that we are less than. So that's where I want to bring you guys to. So let me re-share my screen here and bring us back. Okay. So in other words, this is implying that there's a deviation between your current identity and your future identity. That's essentially what problem-oriented structure is doing for people. And so no matter what they do, no matter how much they're trying to progress, they will never match their future identity. Unconsciously, this usually happens. Okay? So I want to break you guys of that idea. I want to set you free, actually. So this is the limitless structure. This is what everybody has access to, quite honestly. They just don't realize it. And it is the flowing, advancing, progressing structure for ourselves. Okay. So what this looks like, slightly different. Current reality doesn't equal future reality because they are different in certain ways. Okay. So that's always going to be the case, by the way. Right. So it doesn't matter. Right now, we want something different in the future. However, this is where it changes. Your current identity is the same as your future identity, actually. Okay, this is where we take our power fully back. The action subsequently that we will be taking will be there'll be less tension behind it. When you are trying to do something that doesn't match your reality or sorry, your identity, it causes a lot of tension actually. And that's what's causing the oscillating situation. But when you are your future already, there's a lot less tension behind that. So what we're going to get into is you are already whole, complete, and my thing is blocked, full of potential. Okay? You are already whole, complete, and full of potential. I think you guys are going to love this. Just like a seed has potential and literally has potential as long as you water it, to grow into a sapling and into the tree it was meant to be. Okay. It has a structure, a program it's following. It doesn't consciously know that it's going to grow into a tree, but it is programmed to. Okay. But you and I, all of us here, we are conscious creators actually. We can create and become anything we desire. Anything. Like that's why we're here living on earth actually, to become our fullest expression of who we are, which is anything. We could be, do, or have anything. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that you are just like that seed or that sapling. Okay. So even if you don't have billions of dollars in the bank, or if you don't have the six pack that you desire, or the health that you desire, and you're not the full grown tree quite yet, it doesn't mean that you're not the tree, right? It doesn't mean that you're not abundant, that you're not healthy, that you're not whole, that you're not complete right now. It's just right now you have potential, and wherever it's oriented to, wherever your focus is on, is what's actually creating that for you. Okay? And again, a quick check-in. How does this make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome, you guys. Any questions at this point before I go further?
No.
No, I'm just waiting for you to tell us how we picture we're the tree.
Yes. Totally, we're getting there, I promise. I love these analogies because I just want to help you guys instill this idea into your mind.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, we're getting there. Yes. So let's get right to it. Ready, guys? So energy always takes the path of least resistance. I've said this a million times. I always will, but I want you guys to understand that you're just like water. Okay, you're just like water. So water will simply, it'll just take the path of least resistance. If there's rocks in the way, it'll go around the rocks, right? If there's a huge dam set up, it'll just kind of build up behind the dam until the dam moves or until it can go somewhere else, basically. So what happens is we have our beliefs, our sub-identities, all these things that we talked about in the beginning. Those are like mini dams that are blocking our water flow. And honestly, it's blocking the money flow to you and the health flow to you, basically. So if you can imagine, you are water, and so is the universe. Like we are all like we're a molecule swimming in the ocean of the universe, right? And so the ocean just wants to flow to you. It whatever it is that you want, whatever your focus is on, actually, it just wants to bring it to you. But unconsciously, we've got these dams or these rocks that are in the way that are preventing or slowing the path towards you. Okay. So this is what the limitless structure allows you to open up is you can understand that in any given moment, the problems you think you have or the less thans that you think you are, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but all the things, all the false beliefs we have about ourselves are our little dams and little rocks that are blocking our flow. And it's flow both ways, actually. Okay, so it's how we show up taking action, and it's what we're receiving from the universe. Okay, so I hope that makes sense as well. It's like a two-way road. Okay. And it's in construction cones. Like there's lots of ways you can look at this. But the idea here is once you become it, it will come to be. I love that quote, right? Once you become it, it will come to be. So the idea here is we've got to become our limitless self, our future self now, right? There is no difference between you as the seed and you as the tree, actually. In fact, as a human being, you could be the tree right now. You don't have to wait for the gestation period and growth, right? Although there is organic growth that you go through in your own mind, but it has to do with your belief structure, which you guys were already working on that on the back end. So we're already working on towards reprogramming our beliefs, our subconscious beliefs, right? With those audios each night and each morning, or whenever you guys are listening into those. But that's all that's doing is helping you reinforce and speed up your gestation period of growth to become the tree. But at any given moment in time, you're limitless. You can decide that you are the tree right now. And you could show up as the tree, in other words, even if everything else hasn't caught back up yet, which is again what we're going to kind of talk about. So number one action for today is we want to start to decide to be who we want to be right now. Decide that we can have it as we are. As you are right now, you can have it. You can have the money. You can have the health. You can have the love, the acceptance, all the things that you want, actually. You can have them right now as you are in your life. And the thoughts that help you understand that is I am limitless. I have no limits. The only limits I had before were unconscious, and I'm bringing them to light actually. And in more specific ways, these are the 6 ways we self-sabotage ourselves. Okay? I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy. I don't belong. I'm not capable. I need to be perfect, or I'm insignificant. Every human being has these 6 in varying degrees. Okay? And it's okay. It's not your fault, actually. In fact, our life has, we have a limitless, an infinite and unlimited life with infinite possibilities. And a lot of those possibilities include negative ones as well. And that's where these come from, actually. So if your parents didn't show you enough of this attention, love, whatever, okay, we develop these unconsciously. Okay, especially before the age of 7, right? We don't have the choice. We have to accept this idea. Like, oh, we're not getting attention or whatever, then we must not be good enough for our parents, or we're being rejected or whatever, right? I'm insignificant, right? Whatever that looks like. Well, I got news for you guys. Your money relationship and your health relationship and your actual relationships in your life are all related to your self relationship. And that's what these all are actually. So the work you guys are all doing right now is to help you see what has been your unconscious thoughts about yourself, about your life, about your situations, about your circumstances, all that stuff. And it's to help you guys start to shine light on it, bring it into your conscious awareness so that now we can restructure it and we don't have to accept it any longer, right? We can accept a new structure, a new orientation for our life, a new idea about who we are actually as a human being. Okay. So, what we're going to do literally is we are going to step into our highest side, our limitless self. Okay. We're going to remind ourselves that we are whole and complete as we are. Even if we might have thought we were broken. No, I am good enough right now as I am. I am worthy right now as I am. I do belong right now as I am. I am capable right now as I am. And again, you guys are going to understand these will relate to health, money, and a lot of other areas of your life, quite honestly. Okay. But I'm doing them all together because this is you as a human being, actually. And so I do belong, right? I am worthy of better health to look better, right? I am capable of making a lot more money right now and helping serve a lot more effectively, right? I am perfect right now as I am. In my imperfection, I am perfect, right? And again, the seed is growing into the tree. So it doesn't look like the tree yet. So if you were to compare, it doesn't look perfect yet, but it is perfect in its growing and expanding potential. Okay. And it's the same thing with us as human beings. Even if you make a mistake, it's your potential that's unfolding actually. It only comes from mistakes. It's how you learn, right? And then I'm significant right now as I am. If you guys can connect with that this week, we're going to do this like never before this week. You are going to set in motion a future that you can't even begin to imagine. I'm here to tell you, when you get past this idea that you are broken or that you are a problem or that whatever it is, like I can't have this because of whatever. No, you are complete and perfect as you are. You can have millions of dollars right now, this year, if you want, right now in your life, if you want that. You can have amazing health right now. Right now, this year, it can come to fruition if you become it right now. Okay. So here's what we're going to do with this is right now all we're doing is we're expanding your awareness. We're shedding light on the things that we know have been keeping us stuck. Okay? The structure, the problem-oriented structure has been keeping us stuck actually. A lot of people don't realize that. And that's why I always say, when you're talking about anything, the problem, it'll always be a problem. So like in a lot of examples, right? The war on drugs, the war on crime and hate, right? Racism and all this stuff. It's great to talk about because it's bringing it into the conscious awareness. But until we change the structure, it will always be a problem. Right? I hope that makes sense. Like we're always going to have racism if we always think that's the problem actually. If we don't accept that, hey, you know what? We are we are all limitless in our own way. And that's actually what I'm going to be teaching in the Limitless Future program for kids is we are all identically the same energetically, even though we look physically different. So it doesn't matter what your color, your race, your religion, physically, in fact, we have infinite physical diversity among us, but energetically, we're all identically the same. So all that means is we're all having the same life experience, just from a unique vessel and vantage point, right? So whether you're male, female, whether you're black, white, whether you're whatever, you are living life the same way everybody else is. You just have your own unique vantage point and perspective. In other words, we are all identically the same, right? If we can get into that idea, that'll help save a lot of the conflict the world sees right now. And again, that's my next plan is to help kind of bring that idea into the future. But right now for you guys, right, is we're starting to see what has been the problem in our own life. And what we're going to do next level here is we're going to start to let go of it and accept ourselves, who we are, and understand that we are already perfect and complete. We are already the seed of infinite potential. Okay, even if we've had lots of mistakes and we've wasted lots of time or whatever, we are ready to rock right now in the present moment. Okay, so I hope this idea makes sense. We're going very deep here.
Yes.
Awesome. Excellent. And I will pause for like questions and stuff shortly here, but we're getting towards the end of this actual presentation. But the idea here is even though you have a gatekeeper in your subconscious mind, right? Your conscious mind can decide and choose a new awareness and perspective and structure. So, in other words, you can actually override the gatekeeper and the protector and even move forward and take action. You can become that version of you in spite of your current beliefs, in spite of anything else, actually, in spite of your unconscious programming. Have you guys ever, in fact, I'm going to come back to you really quick. And actually, I think this is the end. Yeah. So I'm going to come back to you guys really quick. Have you guys ever done something? So I want to ask you guys, have you ever believed that you couldn't do something and then you went out and did it and you kind of proved yourself wrong? Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And same thing, vice versa. Have you ever believed you could do something, but then you found that you couldn't? Like you gave up on it or it was too hard or something like that?
Yes.
Yep.
Right? So your beliefs don't necessarily match 100% all the time. Right? Like legit, like you can go out there and a lot of times like we'll go out there and maybe we don't think we can get a good grade on a test and then we get a great grade on it or something like that, right? Or we don't think we can build something and then we build it and it's awesome, right? Or whatever that looks like for you, right? You don't think you can solve some problem in your life and then you solve it or whatever, right? So the idea is our beliefs are not the end all be all. In other words, you can believe something that like money's hard to make, in other words, or that, whatever, that you are ugly because you're fat or that you're whatever, you're bald or, whatever it is for you. And you could believe that, but you can still show up and be something different. So what I love is, and I should have put this in the presentation, but you can leave the leave behind and just be. So for your beliefs, right, you can leave the leave behind and just be. So the idea is, even if, in spite of, right, no matter what you're seeing in your current reality, you can still be the version of you that you desire to be right now in this present moment. Okay. And that's what we're going to start to do like never before, quite honestly, because that's the only limiting factor. In the very beginning of this presentation, I shared with you guys actions lead to results. That is the recipe to creating life. Okay. Yes, do our thoughts lead to our feelings, lead to us motivating us into action? Yes. However, if we're overriding some of that stuff, which is kind of what we're doing right now, is we're getting into the idea that we are limitless, that we already are the tree, that we already are abundant, that we already are healthy and fit and strong right now as we are. Even if there's, evidence of a little bit of fat stored up, that's okay, right? Again, if you can understand that that is not you, you're not your body, right? You just have a body. And as you reorient and restructure, now it unfolds and your new body will come to unfold. Okay? So this is what we're going to do to the next level this week, you guys. Okay? So I've got a little exercise and actually comes from one of my coaches. And I'm going to be putting the audio up on in our app for week 5. And actually, Rob mentioned this before too, but I'm going to be putting in at the very end of, after all the weeks, I'm going to have additional materials or resources. And I'm going to put all of the things we've been doing all right there as well. So you guys can just kind of go right down to the end to the additional resources and just listen into whatever you want to listen into or do the exercise you want to do, okay, to make it a lot easier. And Rob, I've been looking into having daily prompts and reminders. I'm trying to figure that out right now to add to the app, but hopefully I'll be able to figure that out for the next week here. So you guys will have reminders to, hey, do your quick visualization or your 15-minute meditation or whatever that looks like, or listen into this for 5 minutes or whatever, right? Whatever, like mindful exercises that we want to be doing. So that'd be really cool. And Rob, thank you for that because that's
My
in the
pleasure,
works right
brother.
now.
My suggestions helped for sure.
Dude, totally. Yes. This is gonna be so awesome, man. I'm so excited about what we're
Very cool.
creating here. So cool. So the exercise for this week, you guys, what I want you guys to do is, and again, you can use the audio I'm going to be providing you, and it's about like 13, 14 minutes, something like that. But what it is, and his name is Chris Duncan. Okay. This guy's awesome. He's trailblazing, and we're going to get into some next level stuff that I'm actually learning from him. And I was in his program a couple years ago, but he's got some new stuff that I've jumped into, and it's where I want to take our coaching to the next level to kind of bypass problem oriented and just bypass it and get past it as quickly as possible. That's kind of where we're going with things. But the idea is what you do is you imagine, and again, you're going to relax your body completely. Always remember that you got to get out of survival and into creation mode for yourself. And the only way to do that is to relax the body. Okay. Get rid of any tension in your body, breathe it out in that moment. And then once you're there, now whatever you put your attention and focus on, now it's in a creative mechanism instead of a survival mechanism. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our attention and focus on the idea that we're going to have a very important meeting. We're going to sit down and have a very important meeting. And what's really cool, you guys, you can do this in 2 different ways. I want you to explore both. Okay. I want you to sit down and imagine you're going to have a very important meeting with money. Okay. So whatever money represents, however money presents itself, whatever it represents to you, that's what you can envision. It's perfect for you. So like whenever I envision this, I picture like a giant bill, like a package of bills that are kind of wrapped together, and it's giant. It looks like a human almost with legs is walking up. But you can envision anything you want. It could be a pot of gold. It can be whatever you want, a check, whatever. So all I want you to do is envision money is sitting down with you. Okay, and you're sitting down with money, And I want you just to notice how you feel sitting with money, being with money, having a meeting with it. Okay. And what's really powerful is when you sit down and you're starting to look at your relationship with money. Okay. We've already uncovered some of the back end stuff, but this is going to show you everything. Okay. So, whatever you envision for it, however you feel about it, I want you to take note of that. Right? Write down how it makes you feel, if it makes you feel uneasy or if, you feel less than, right? That's what happened for me actually. I sat down and I felt less than money actually. It was like this big presence and I felt like I didn't deserve to be sitting there with it. Like that's kind of what came up for me when I was doing these. And so whatever happens for you is perfect. Okay. And it's not good or bad, it's not right or wrong. It's actually the dams and the rocks that are preventing you from attracting and receiving a lot more money, actually. And subsequently, it's the dams and rocks keeping you from taking the action you need to be taking to attract and create the money that you desire. Okay. So, and money's very simple. To make more money, all you gotta do is provide more value to people. Provide value to somebody who needs it. That's all you gotta do. Then the more you provide, right, the bigger the problem you solve, or to the more people you can solve a problem for, the more money you can make. It's really, really that binary. It's very simple. But in order to do that, we've got to feel good about money first and understand that we want to become best friends with it. We want to have a loving, caring, friendship with it. And it's a give and take friendship basically, right? So I hope that makes sense. But what's cool is you can do this in two levels, okay? The first level is you are gonna, it's what I just described. It's you're gonna sit down with money and then you notice how you feel about it at the moment. Okay, then what you can do is you can kind of become the observer and then you step into money's shoes. And now you are money looking back at you. And you can do the same thing. How do you feel with you once you're money? Okay, how do I feel with this person, right? And you're going to notice different feelings. Like, oh, it's awkward, right? I feel awkward around you. Why? Why? What's going on? So what you do is you just pay attention. Pay attention to how you feel as money sitting with you. And between the two, write down all the things that came up. Write down what came up, how you felt, and that literally those are the blocks that you currently have to money. Okay, so this is very powerful and very simple, I think, but it's very profound actually.
That's really interesting.
Yes, isn't it, Monique?
Yeah,
Yes.
I really like that. That's really interesting. I never thought to do it like that.
Yes. To me it's brilliant. It's so awesome. And I love that perspective. And again, it comes from this guy Chris, who you're going to listen into. But it's brilliant. And it'll help you uncover exactly your relationship with money right now. Okay? What's even more brilliant is you can do this with health. With health, right? And it's your desire with health. Okay, so if you want to lose 30 pounds, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your future self and you're going to sit down with him or her and you're going to have a meeting with them, right? And literally that version of you, or if you're looking for any other area of health or even in your life, you could do this with any area of your life actually. But if you sit down with it, you can do the same thing. How do I feel right now in relation to that goal, that desire that I have, right? And then vice versa. When you could step into it as your future version and be like, all right, well, I'm 40 pounds lighter. Okay, well, how do I look at myself now? What's the difference? What's the gap here? And what's brilliant is this will show you the gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. But you are that version already. You are already a money magnet. You're just uncovering why it hasn't kicked into gear yet. Right? You're already that healthy version. You're just uncovering why you haven't taken the action that you wanted to take. right? We're just uncovering all this stuff at this point. Okay. Does this idea make sense for you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yes, it
Awesome.
does.
Awesome. You guys are rock stars. Cool. So I think honestly, let me just make sure I don't want to miss anything here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So basically, the idea is what we want to figure out is what is it that money and health will provide us, right? What is the feeling it will provide us? How will we feel once we have lots more money? And that money has been solved. The problem of money has been solved. Okay. So I want to give you guys another idea. And this is actually in the meditation, but let me come back to you guys. So I want you to just imagine you have that thing already. Like, so the amount of money you want, the health that you desire, I want you to fully on imagine that you've already have it. So for money in particular, okay, I want you to imagine that literally 50K a week is coming into your bank account every week. Okay. 50K a week. I'm not talking like 500 bucks a week, but 50K a week is coming in. Okay. 200K a month. You're a multimillionaire, right? And you know, couple mils coming in each year. Okay. You've already paid off all of your debt or whatever it is, you've just got lots of money coming in. Okay. I want you to skip ahead to that idea. And I want you to imagine, how do you actually feel? Like, what does your body feel like if you had that amount of money coming in every week, just overflowing of abundance coming in? I want you to take note on how you feel like that and what the difference is between you right now and that. Okay. Again, this is super enlightening. You're shining light onto what is missing actually. And it's again, you're not any different. You're the same person, you're the same individual. Okay? You're just thinking and feeling slightly different. That's all it is. It's the only difference. Okay? Your orientation's slightly different. That's all. So there is no physical differences between somebody who's super poor or somebody who's in disease and somebody who's super rich and healthy and wealthy. No, there is no physical differences, just how they're oriented. That's it. Just the structure they're in that has allowed them to create their wealth or their health. And we're going to get into the ultimate structure, the limitless structure. So it's going to be so cool. So the idea here is, again, imagine how you feel as already having that thing. Okay. Do this with health as well. Okay. And that literally, whatever it is, you want to lose 50 pounds or whatever, you want to have lots more energy. Well, how will you feel once you have lots more energy? What are you going to do in your life that's different? In other words, what are the actions and behaviors that are different compared to you right now? Okay, so that's the other exercise I want you guys to just practice a little bit this week with, because that will actually show you where the disconnect is. That'll show you the gap of where you need to go. So the idea is, if you can feel that way now in the present moment, remember, if you can become it, it will come to be. Okay? So if you can become it now, it will come to be over time. So the idea is, we've got to, again, the universe takes a path of least resistance. So if we can lower the resistance around that thing, that's also likened to lowering the dams and the rocks, spreading out the rocks and opening up the flow. What's really interesting about this is the feelings that are the mismatch are showing you your resistance. So this is what's beautiful. With resistance comes desire, and vice versa. With desire comes resistance. So the idea is, what we're trying to do is understand that it's not necessarily what we desire, it's who we already are. So we already are that version of us. So that's why we desire to be it, actually. All right. But if we desire to be it, that desire has caused resistance, and the resistance is in the form of how you feel. Okay, this is very deep, yet also very simple once you understand it. But the idea is the desire creates the resistance, and which creates a feeling. So in other words, if you can uncover how you'd feel if you've had that money, if you've had that health, and you feel free, you feel abundant, you feel whatever that is the resistance you need to let go of right now and step into right now. So in other words, what happens is you feel the opposite, right? You don't feel abundant. That's why you don't have it yet. You don't feel healthy. That's why you don't have the health yet. You don't feel it yet. So feeling is the indicator, right, of your resistance that you're in actually still. So again, I hope this makes sense. But all we're doing in this exercise is if you skip ahead to get there, you lower the desire. You already are. There is no longer desire anymore. You are it in the present moment, right? You are the tree. Even though you might still be a sapling, you are the tree still. That's what makes us human beings limitless, is we can actually become it right now. And then, lo and behold, it unfolds and we become it actually. So that's what we're doing. And so what happens when you do that, you feel what you thought you couldn't feel until you had that thing. So a lot of people have it backwards. They think, right, they're waiting to get more money to feel abundant. But the problem is it'll never come in unless you feel abundant. Right? So, like I said in the very beginning, everything is backwards. This is a backwards thing we've created for ourselves, a backwards structure. Okay. And so we're at the top of our hour. But does this idea make sense, you guys? I want to make sure you really understand this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, so and you guys, if you ever have any questions in between these sessions, by the way, just message me, let me know if you do run into some type of challenge or whatever. Just message me in between and I'll make sure we get you right on track again. But where we're going is going to be next level because there's something called the super conscious that we're going to start to tap into. So we have the conscious, which is our mind, okay, our conscious mind. Then we have our subconscious and unconscious. Well, there's another layer called the superconscious that actually oversees and can help you in any area of your life 10 times faster. And we're going to start to leverage the superconscious and its help a lot more effectively moving forward. And it helps you actually eliminate and alleviate all of the current resistance you have in your life around the beliefs you have, around your identities, all that stuff. We're going to kind of start to bypass it along with reprogramming it as well on the back end. But if you bypass it, it can actually skip you ahead. It's almost like you warp to level 8 on Mario instead of have to go through each of the levels. It's kind of likened to that. That's why I love and I'm so excited to teach this to you guys where we're going with this. Okay. So how does that sound?
Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Fantastic, Tony.
Excellent, you guys. Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here for the full hour. I appreciate you guys. You guys are rocking it, and I promise you, over the next couple weeks, it's going to change the game for you. I'm here to tell you. So buckle in, get ready. We are going to be rocking and rolling like never before. Okay.
Awesome. And you're going to put that Chris Duncan audio on the app, you said? Okay.
Yeah, yes. So it literally in the next like hour or so,
Okay.
I'll be putting that out there. And you guys can listen into that and try these exercises out. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. All right, you guys. Well, listen, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Hope the rest of your week is the best of your week. And looking very forward to next session because we're going to get into some really cool stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure, you guys. All right, having a great day. Okay, we'll see you next Thursday.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.